Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Augmentor Demo Day 2021. And first of all, I'd like to thank you all for joining us to celebrate the end of this year's acceleration program. And I guess for those of you that didn't get the chance to meet me yet, I'm Leia, and I actually run the Augmentor program, where we work every year with 10 of the best UK early stage immersive startups on their commercial and investment readiness. So I guess where to start? I mean, we're in the midst of an exceptional situation, really. And this year's demo day will be different than usual. But we're still incredibly happy to be able to host this event online from the comfort of our houses with coffees next to us. And with that also reach more people than ever before. And we're aware of how unprecedented the last few months have been for all of us, really. I mean, we've been juggling everything from like working from home routine with things such as parenting and also social isolation. And I guess it's also important to notice that it hasn't been at all easy for the startups. It has been rather incredibly challenging. Everything from not being able to properly demo their immersive solutions to the constant changes in the investment landscape and also their clients' needs. But still, there's a bright side to it. I guess due to COVID, numerous new growth opportunities have arisen across sectors such as entertainment, healthcare, training. And we've really seen a more widespread industrial adoption of immersive solutions. And I guess also start seeing them as the enablers of a connected future, one that sort of brings us all together despite the physical restrictions. We're incredibly excited to be joined by all of you today here for the next hour and a half. And I guess we really don't want to overwhelm you today, so we kept today's event pretty short. As you can see, after a welcome from the Augmentor program, we'll then gonna have the opportunity to hear 10 startup pitches, as well as 2 snappy fireside chats. At the first one, we will be joined by Sean Seton-Rogers of Pro Founders Capital, just to discuss the opportunities of investing in immersive startups. And then for the last fireside chat, we'll actually have Ultraleap and Vario joining us and talking about their journeys of becoming established immersive companies that they are today. Okay, I guess, so we can all have the best possible experience today. Just a few notes and comments, really. Firstly, we're recording this session, and we will also share the recording with you afterwards. So worry not if you happen to drop out for any reason. This is a Zoom webinar, so your camera will be switched off and microphone set on mute during the whole session. We know this is not ideal, but I guess very selfishly, we wanted to keep the startups in the spotlight for today. And we still wish that you make the best out of this event, and we want to make it as engaging as possible. So we really encourage you to use the chat option to speak with one another and also comment on the startup pitches. And also feel free just to introduce yourself, tell us, who you are, where are you joining from, and what you're here for. Okay, so I guess now that we got that covered, let's just go back to the reason why we're all actually here today. So our startups. Augmentor startups have actually done an incredible job in navigating these new waters, and they have been working very, very hard, just trying to keep developing their businesses and also market direction. So today, these same startups will showcase just how far they've actually gotten, and they will introduce us to their solutions. And before I hand it over to the stars of our show, so our startups, I just very quickly wish to mention some of the highlights from this year's program cohort. We're actually very proud to say that this whole shift to our remote world also meant a shift to remote program, right? And it brought a lot of positive impact. We've actually seen a 20% increase in applications compared to previous year, but really more than that, we observed improvements on the diversity angle. And in terms of geographical representation, actually 70% of our cohort startups are based outside of London, which I guess shows that there is really a huge potential to build amazing immersive companies and also to find talent across all the UK regions. And on top of that, we've also seen an increase in diversity of the team members' backgrounds. And this year we have 50% of the teams with a female founder. And on top of that, on 50% of the teams, we also have BAME representation among team members. So these are all great and amazing news. But I guess sort of on top of that, it has been really great to see how all of our program advocates have once again come together to support Augmentor startups on their business journeys. And these strong connections with more than 24 partners from both investment and industry sectors, and then 40 mentors and 90 community partners are what makes Augmentor program uniquely positioned. And their expertise and ongoing support, without a doubt, contributed to a bigger program and bigger impact, and also a better future success of our startups, really. So all of you that are actually here with us in the audience today, you can also help support these startups, whether be it through investment, through introduction, through using their products, or just simply spreading the word about the amazing work that they do. So if you'd like to be social today, please use the hashtags that you can see on the big screen. Use the hashtags on all of the social media that we have published here. And today, let's really try to leverage these support capabilities that I've mentioned. And let's try to leverage them in the best possible way we can. So I ask you today to listen to startup pitches, think of how you can help best, and also then get in touch with them after the events to really start exploring these opportunities. And I guess for all of the investors and potential clients in the audience, there is also a possibility to book one-on-one meetings with startups. So throughout today's speeches, we'll be actually sharing the links to Calendly, where you will be able to book these one-on-one meetings with startups that you wish to speak to. So just keep an eye on chat for those. And I guess now let's open the stage to our startups and let's meet the 10 teams that have embarked on the Augmentor journey this year. And again, despite your turned off cameras and mics, don't be shy and leave your comments in the chat and really try to make the best out of this event. So to kick off our pitching, I'll invite our first founder to this online stage. So Olga, over to you to tell us how Imperia is planning to boost sales and brand engagement in art and luxury fashion.
Leah, I can't share the screen while you're sharing. There we go. Hello, everyone. My name is Olga, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Imperia. We help brands in fashion and art boost their sales and customer engagement through virtual reality. When we shop online, many websites look alike. It is always the same white grid with a list of products. Imagine removing the logo from these two websites. It would be almost impossible to tell which brand is which, hardly a differentiated luxury experience. However, when we go to the physical store, instantly seeing whether we're in a luxury or high street environment is not hard at all. Luxury brand's identity shows from every corner of the store, enticing the customer to be part of the brand's world. This is almost impossible to recreate across all digital channels, creating a gap between online and offline. At Imperia, we create virtual stores and galleries that run on any device and allow brands to showcase their identity online, creating an immersive brand world and engaging the customer on a new level, while showing every detail of their product online. So this is how it works. We create a virtual space that reflects the brand and its values and is a perfect environment to showcase the products. At the next step, the products are added in 3D. This can be done even before the products are made. We then add an e-commerce overlay to allow the customer to shop directly from the virtual tour. The experience can then be accessed from any device, anywhere in the world. Within the next 18 months, we're planning to automate our product, sign up the next 100 customers, and get into 1.3 million in ARR, and launch the virtual shopping platform to create an online luxury destination of the future. We operate in a subscription-based business model where the customer is charged a one-off fee to create a virtual space, and then going monthly subscription to display new shows and collections. So far, we've generated 165K in turnover, signed up 25 paying clients, and have 245K in ARR. Our experiences have been used by 50,000 people, more than 30% of who returned multiple times. Our clients have generated $2.1 million directly through our experiences, increasing their sales by 15% on average, even during the pandemic. They love the product so much that each of them has referred at least one more, making referrals our main customer acquisition strategy. 93% of consumers are more inclined to purchase through brand experience. This is why businesses in fashion and art spend $5.6 billion a year on experiential marketing, and this number is growing by 20% annually. While we operate in a fast-growing market, there are no established market leaders yet. Our main competitors are Obsess and Kunstmatrix, however, none of them can offer experiences as realistic and easy to use. We are a team of 10 with a variety of expertise in both tech and creative industries. My co-founder Simon has spent the past 4 years building VR apps. Before Imperia, I've spent 5 years working in fashion on both retail and wholesale sides. We're looking to raise $500,000 in the first quarter of 2021 to fuel our growth by automating our product and signing up the next 100 clients, bringing us to over $1 million in annual revenue. Join us in our journey of building the luxury shopping experience of the future. Thank you.
Awesome, Olga, thank you so much for sort of breaking the ice with the pitching. Thank you, and again, a virtual round of applause for Olga at this point. So now we're gonna move from fashion and arts to something completely different. Sean will explain how Evidential is helping the police fight new crime and train new police officers. So Sean, please join me and tell us more about it.
Thanks a million, Leah, and thanks everyone for joining us today. Really grateful that you've took some time out of your busy schedules. I'd like to introduce you to Evidential Reality, where we're helping the police to fight new crime and train new officers through immersive technology. Emergency services, in particular policing, are struggling to keep up with the new forms of terrorism attacks nowadays, whilst at the same time the government are pushing to recruit 20,000 new police officers. However, only over 40% of police training centres have been closed due to budget cuts, and currently situational role-play training exercises are proven to be costly, highly disruptive, and of limited effectiveness. In addition, unfortunately, 32 lives have been lost in the UK over police and military training incidents in the last decade. So we're here to help the police fight new crime using immersive technology to overcome enforced cuts, helping to recruit and train new officers in a wide range of situations whilst in safe office environments. We're introducing Avita, an immersive VR training platform that's 400% more effective than traditional training and 80% increased retention, whilst providing huge savings compared to traditional training. How we do this? Well, we create realistic environments, and then within these environments, we build in real life scenarios. They're based on actual crimes provided by the UK College of Policing. It's a fully featured dynamic training system, which allows teams of officers to train effectively, both remotely, but also in other locations as well, but at the same time being all together in one place, virtually. We can throw in dynamic conditions, which cause each training exercise to be unique, and playback reviews allow for specific training outcomes. Additionally to Avita, we're continuing to innovate, and this time we're using AR technology to help preserve crime scenes more effectively with our first responder initiative. Experts can remotely co-locate within minutes of officers entering a crime scene, achieving increased preservation of evidence. This can lead to shorter investigations, increased chance of conviction, quicker justice, which ultimately leads to taxpayer savings. We've had a number of interesting parties, being the main one, the UK College of Policing, but the National Crime Agency, British Transport Police, in particular British Transport Police, who recently integrated Avita into their training programme, and 83% of students fed back that it improved their training performance. Evidential ourselves, been going for 6 and a bit years now, and we've been fortunate to be awarded over £1 million of R&D investment by Innovate UK, which has allowed us to move from a traditional service business to a product line. We're a unique mix of former police, expert witnesses, and experienced game developers. And we've got opportunities in all the other emergency services, but also international governments and complementing sectors such as medical, security, and military applications. We're looking for £500,000 investment. This will allow us to expand the team and capitalise on these international opportunities in order to reach our 12 million sale by goal by 2024. Thank you for taking the time to look at Evidential today. Look forward to speaking to some of you.
Amazing, amazing. Sean, thank you for this. And again, dear audience, don't be shy. Put your comments, good or bad, in the chat. We want to hear from you. And again, if you want to reach out to our founders, please do so through the contact information that is available in the chat. Okay, so moving on. I guess remote collaboration is tough, especially during these unprecedented times. And Rob will now tell us more about how fracture reality is making remote collaboration easy through use of MR.
Hey there. Hi everyone. Great to be here. I'm Rob. I'm the co-founder and CTO of Fracture Reality. I'm here to talk to you about our new product called Join and why enterprise is about to get serious about immersive tech. So long after the pandemic has passed, collaboration platforms like these are still going to be generating billions in value for enterprise. But in many sectors, projects depend on complex 3D data like this. And in these sectors, collaboration software is just not keeping up. Mission critical data is locked away in computer-aided design packages that only run on high-end desktop PCs. And one-way screen sharing, while great for webinars and startup pitches, is terrible for collaboration. The problem is so bad for one of our clients that they still build physical models and prototypes and stand around a table for every single project review meeting that they do. Collaboration like this adds weeks of attrition to projects. Key decision makers get involved too late, and then projects get delayed, millions gets wasted, and travel budgets skyrocket. We've seen client after client over the last 4 years with exactly the same pain point. So we decided to build Join, a 3D online meeting platform for HoloLens 2. Join uses cutting-edge cloud rendering to load and work with the native files that our enterprise clients use in their actual projects. And that's a capability unmatched by anything else on the market right now. It's an immersive space where serious users get real work done. Join has all the standard features you'd expect of a standard meeting platform: voice communication, meeting and user management, the ability to leave comments and notes, plus everything that users need to work in 3D. Photorealistic avatars that you create with a selfie, sketching and measuring with simple hand gestures, and industrial CAD data natively imported in minutes rather than hours. That client that I mentioned before, they've gone from weeks to set up a single project review meeting to just minutes, and everyone can join without leaving their office, and they always use the most up-to-date files. By 2025, enterprise collaboration is going to be a £14 billion market, and $6 billion of that is going to be new growth, which creates great opportunity for new innovative platforms like Join. Within that, we've chosen construction and discrete manufacturing as our initial target sectors. So these both have large distributed teams. They both deal with complex 3D data as an inherent part of the projects they do. And they're historically under-digitized, but that's changing rapidly in both sectors. We estimate an obtainable market in these two verticals of £300 million by 2025, with plenty of opportunity for horizontal growth into other similar sectors. We have some competitors. In fact, immersive collaboration platforms are growing really rapidly, particularly through lockdown. But because these platforms all rely on traditional rendering, they can't load or render any of the native 3D files that enterprises actually rely on for serious work. And that's how you end up with screenshots like this. The tools and UX of these platforms end up limited to simple use cases like stand-ups or happy hours. And we believe this is leaving a huge amount of business value on the table. In short, we believe the real value lies in this part of the design space, high productivity and high display power. And we've invested in the cloud rendering capabilities and the serious tools and UX workflows that unlock that value. And by the way, the x-axis on this graph is not really to scale. If it was, it would look more like this. So today, Join can render files which are about 50 times more complex than traditional rendering approaches. And because all that power is in the cloud, our clients don't need to buy new hardware to get more power. It just happens in the background. So not only do we have a huge lead in our competitors, we're actually accelerating away from them. With a background in rendering tech and 3D tools, our core team has worked together for over a decade. And as a team, we've got 5 years experience selling to the enterprise sector across a range of different verticals. We're working with that portfolio now to move them over to the Join platform. During our closed beta, we're finding out the key use cases that have business value for our clients and focusing on automating our workflows and tools around them. Going forward, we've got multiple channel partners waiting to resell Join globally with deep roots in enterprise procurement and integration. Right now, we're raising £1 million to grow our client base, fully automate our workflows, and integrate Join deeply with the key CAD software across a few different verticals. And by 18 months, we aim to have hit £2 million in recurring revenue. The Join platform starts with collaboration, creating tangible business value today. But it's also a great beachhead to expand vertically as the platform shift that's coming with AR reaches throughout the value chain. So we believe this is the decade where enterprise gets serious about immersive tech, and we think Join is where it starts. Please do get in touch for a live demo, and thanks a lot for listening.
Well, nice one, Rob. Nice one. Awesome. What a fabulous pitch. And again, another round of virtual applause for you. And now, have you ever wondered if it's possible to experience audio quality of cinema from any device? So Garrett, that also just popped up on your screen, will share the secrets of spatial audio and how Magic Beans is building the future of it.
Hi everyone, I'm Gareth Llewellyn. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Magic Beans, and I'm here to tell you about our spatial audio platform, Roundhead. So there's a revolution underway in sound. Real-time spatial audio is the most profound improvement to the audio experience since stereo. And as highlighted by Mark Andreessen, this is an area that's set to explode in value over the next 5 years. But in 2021, it's difficult and expensive to create and consume this new kind of audio. You need to own expensive niche hardware and put on a headset just to listen to something. Dedicated spatial audio solutions offer expensive subpar experiences with little sense of immersion from their laggy 3 degrees of freedom audio. And finally, there's nowhere you can go to easily create and enjoy these new kinds of experience. Brands, ad agencies, musicians and creators around the world are desperate to provide their audiences with compelling immersive experiences, but they need these to be cost efficient to make, and they need to be able to reach their entire audience in a frictionless way. And this is why we've built Roundhead, to bring this incredible next generation audio to everybody. Roundhead is a web-based spatial audio creation and distribution platform. We allow paid subscribers to easily make and deploy audiovisual experiences that allow you to physically move around and experience audio in the environment around you. And this is all available to audiences on the everyday devices that they already own. And our secret sauce is in our unique approach to real-time acoustic simulation and our use of sensor data to generate highly convincing real-time experiences. The Roundhead founding team have been at the forefront of commercial immersive audio for many years, and we've helped develop many pioneering immersive audio productions, including mixing the world's first 3D audio feature film for George Lucas and helping to develop the Auro 3D sound format. Roundhead already has promising traction and validation. It's been deployed in multiple award-winning immersive experiences. We've powered industrial simulations for Highways England, and we're working to integrate our spatial audio with pufferfish display technology. We're also leading an R&D project with Warner Music to create new forms of spatial music experience. There's a large and rapidly expanding market for audiovisual experiences of this kind. There are more than 4 billion devices worldwide that are capable of running a Roundhead experience today. And the market for streamable audiovisual content is showing significant growth with great onward potential. Now, we're entering the market through brand-sponsored live streams of spatial music and meditation experiences, which are going into pilot in the coming quarter. There are a number of players in the market that sense the same potential in 3D audio that we do. However, Roundhead is offering something different to all of these. It's a much better audio experience than is available elsewhere. We're platform and hardware independent, with the cheapest and lowest friction way to access quality immersive content. We're now raising 650K and seeking a partner that can support us in achieving our goal to deliver incredible real-time spatial audio to anyone with a smartphone or laptop. The investment will be used to build our team, develop our customer-facing offering, and take us from private beta to public launch. Help us to revolutionize the audio streaming landscape. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Gareth. What a fabulous story. Thanks for sharing this. And again, if you want to know more about Magic Beans or Roundhead, do reach out to Gareth. And now, I guess when VR and SaaS meet, great things can really happen, and especially when it comes to staff training, which is still a big challenge in a lot of corporates nowadays. And to finish the first round of lightning pitches, we'll now hear it from Dami, co-founder of MoonHub. So take it away, Dami.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And good morning, everyone. So hi, I'm Dami. I'm the founder and director of MoonHub, where we constantly strive for innovation, very much like during the space race to get to the moon. And we're a new frontier of training in the immersive space. Training is an integral part of any company life in the market nowadays, but the application is usually disengaging, it's inconsistent, and it's ununified, with retention rates being as low as 5 to 10%, as reported by many reports, including Accenture's. This means that companies lose out on the return on investment they have when it comes to their L&D spend due to this ancient learning approach. MoonHub provides companies with high quality training by immersing their staff in virtual reality interactive training scenarios from their existing L&D material, helping them gain and retain more knowledge from richer data, thus increasing their ROI. You must be thinking, okay, why VR of all things? Well, coinciding with our own internal data and findings, PwC summed it up perfectly last year. Companies found that their staff trained 4 times faster, saw increases in confidence, and companies saw a 64% reduction in costs at scale when using virtual reality to train their staff. On to how it works. All Saints' head of people, as you can see here, is using our patent pending spot and drop scoring system to collect data such as where she's looking, her reaction time, and other factors when spotting a shoplifter in this interactive scenario. Immediate feedback is provided, which can also be viewed online on our dashboard with results on multiple different training modules. It's effective, it's useful, and most importantly, it's scalable. So our commercial structure is a credit-based system. This allows companies to make updates, access the platform, and have a more seamless experience. And it's what makes us a SaaS company rather than an agency model. This is evident in how easily Just Eat completed the initial phase of training with us and has already moved on to the second phase of training with reserving the equivalent of 10,000 training sessions in MoonHub credits to train their new in-house delivery drivers. You may have seen something like this mentioned on the Financial Times last month. New companies are signing up with us every month, and it's a great and exciting time for us. As you can see, the market potential for what we are doing is substantial. The VR market was valued at 27.12 billion by Goldman Sachs, and it's forecasted to be worth just over 45.2 billion pounds in the next 6 years. Our competitive advantage is that we focus on the ease of use and data tracking side of our platform, which integrates into existing learning management systems. It's why our main competitors, who have raised over 55 million to date, failed to win over the head of L&D of a major bank, who we are now working closely with for a project launching in Q2, and he also acts as an advisor to us. My co-founders, Hannah, Vin, and I, bootstrapped for years before receiving pre-seed funding, which allowed us to enter the market, grow our team to 6, and work with notable brands to buff up our platform. Our joint experience in international sales, Unity, and computer engineering definitely put the pre-seed funds to use. So much so that it's allowed us to get the attention of media outlets far and wide, including being listed on Sifted's top 80 startups to watch in Europe and to develop the products further. All our marketing has been inbound, and so have our leads. And we're raising £1 million to facilitate the growth of our team and accelerated market capture, as well as research and development to incorporate new elements into our platform that will help keep us ahead of competition. We already have £100,000 invested by Miles Jacobson. You may know him as the famous creator of the Football Manager series, and he's from Sega as well. And we're looking for an additional 900,000 to close the round. It's going very well so far. We see MoonHub establishing working relationships with key players from major industries in 2021. And thank you for your time. We'd love to hear from you.
Excellent. Thanks. Thanks for this snapshot of MoonHub, Dami. Thank you. And again, a warm virtual round of applause for all of our founders that have just pitched. Again, reach out to them through the contact details in the chat. And I guess we're sort of now shifting into something else completely, and we're going ahead. We're going to take, I guess, a little break from the pitching, and it's time for our first fireside chat with ProFounders Capital. I'll now hand over the virtual microphone to my colleague Julia, who is leading on our investor engagement at Digital Catapult, and she will tell you more about what we will be chatting about for the next 15 minutes and who is our amazing speaker. So Julia, over to you.
Thanks a lot, Leah, and good morning, everyone. So I've known Sean for a while now. I've actually met him at an event a while ago when he was reverse pitching ProFounders Capital to a room of entrepreneurs. And he's actually amongst one of my favorite investors, as over the years, the startups that I actually introduced to him came back to me highlighting the amazing feedback that he would give back to them, even at the times when he didn't end up investing in some of the companies. So I guess they're not called ProFounders for nothing after all, are they? So recently, and actually accidentally, I found out that they invested in Leapmotion and an Amplifier. So I really wanted to hear more about what, how they see the space and what made them bet on XR back in the days. With over 50 investments, and I think, Sean, you're going to give us a bit more insights into that, 14 exits. You folks have been backing early stage startups since 2009, focusing on disruptive models that leverage technology to transform and improve customer experience. It's a pleasure to have you here today, Sean. Would you give us a quick intro to yourself and ProFounders Capital before we dive into all things XR?
Excellent. Hi, Julia. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. Honestly, I couldn't have paid you any more to do it any better. So it's very kind. And yes, I've appreciated conversations we've had, and of course the company introductions that you've made. And it's an unfortunate byproduct of our job is we say no a lot to businesses. We only say yes to, honestly, it's 1 in every 100 or 150. And so we have to be, respectful of founders' time. We have to, be courteous. And we also know we get it wrong a lot. My gosh, our list of companies we didn't invest into is so painful to look at sometimes. And there's always kind of a new one that pops up. But as long as we get enough interesting, exciting businesses, then it all works out. Very quickly on ProFounders, because it's the less exciting stuff. We're based here in London, investing across Greater Europe into early stage digital businesses. We invest into the first institutional rounds. And what that means is we write investment checks anywhere from €500,000 up to €2.5 million into companies usually raising 1 to 3 or 1 to 4 million euros. And our investment thesis is quite simple. We want to invest into companies that fix broken customer experiences. So every business that we meet, we try to understand how they use technology to make faster or better or cheaper or easier, something that is hard or painful for consumers to do or for businesses to do as well. And that crosses many, many sectors, e-commerce through to marketplaces, software, games, XR, VR, whatever you want to call it. We have our toes dipped into a lot of different little ponds, but this is definitely one of them. And what's most exciting probably about this, which is also what's been the toughest about it, is generational change, generational platforms, by their nature only come once in a generation. So if you go back in time, the semiconductor was a big shift. The personal computer was a big shift. The internet 20 years ago, 25 years ago was a big shift. Mobile, 10 years ago was a big shift. And we're always looking for the next one. And I think what's got everyone excited on the investment world is XR the next one. The downside is that we've been saying that for 6 or 7 years now. And so therein lies the conundrum a little bit. But I've kind of jumped into a bunch of different things. But it's a pleasure to be here.
I mean, we are going to go back to a decade ago, right? Because that's when you folks invested in Leap Motion and Amplify. And I guess on my side, back in the days, XR was still like completely new, right? And even now, like investors are still reluctant, like very often to invest in this type of companies. So I guess my question, like the first question for you, is what made you make that bet like 10 years ago?
Yeah, and it turned out to not necessarily work out, right? It's been hard and it's been long in the space. It's the promise. Again, it's the promise of, in that case specifically, sort of the VR immersive space. And we looked at it. We said this is a different paradigm. It's a different opportunity. When there are new opportunities, new paradigms, there's opportunities for outsized returns. So what everyone's looking for in venture capital is the chance not to make 3 to 4 times your money, but 100 to 200 times your money. And with that, you need new things where you can pioneer into a new space. You can be the global market leader starting as a very small business. And so these new product opportunities are what got people excited. And so when we first met the Leap Motion team, which is all about gesture recognition, it was quite simple, right? I'm not going to overplay our investment thesis. We thought, isn't that really
all right.
cool? We invest alongside Intel Capital. So we sort of said, okay, great. They'll do the technical diligence because we clearly can't do that. And they were able to get some comfort on that side. But then, what we got wrong in that case was the timing, right? Things just took much longer than anyone expected. And that's always the downside over the last few years is when will the platform be there? When will distribution be in place?
And at that point, because obviously you invested in those two, but have you looked at other companies in the space? And I guess like what made you invest in those particular two compared to the others, if you had?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, every year we meet a lot of different companies that are touching the XR space, right? And I must say it ebbs and flows as far as what we see within it. So for a long time it was all about gaming and VR, and everyone was building either immersive experiences, go sit on the beach in VR, or kind of action games, whatever it might be. And then it moved much more towards sort of training programs, right? Prototyping, training, more B2B style experiences. And then more recently, it's starting to move back a little bit more towards the gaming side. And that's purely a function of the fact that finally with the Quest 2, we have the belief that there will be a platform out there, right? And there will be product out there that people can use as consumers. So it feels like we're finally getting there, right? And actually, as I've been listening to the pitches here this morning, I've been fascinated because I did look at all of them, but the ones that have spoken, it's much more still, right? Generally speaking, in the picks and shovels, kind of the tools sets and so forth, right? How do we actually make the experiences just much better? And you can understand why, because actually for the content side to work, you need to have the platform and the tools in place. And so, with this next generation of kind of tools in place, we'll be able to build the great content on top of it, I believe.
Definitely. And I mean, I think also what we see in Europe versus the US, for example, is that there are a lot more I guess, so like kind of startups in the B2B space rather than consumer. However, as you pointed out, especially because of COVID, we could see a lot more adoption on the consumer side finally. So, probably the time for XR is now. I think where do you see I guess the differences between Europe and the immersive space here versus I mean the US, Asia and so on?
Yeah, it's listen, I think generally speaking, the world is getting flatter. And this is across all of the entrepreneurial world, right? Founders read the same blogs, they follow the same people on Twitter. So there's not a huge amount of difference. If you think about what Europe could bring to the table, though, there's a few things, and this is generally speaking about founders, but then also about the space as well, right? So I think without a doubt, Europe has been one of the global leaders in the games and content side, right? And you go back 30 years ago with its Codemasters building games in the UK, or even in the last 10 years with, if you think about global leaders, whether it's Minecraft or Supercell, we're investors in Small Giant Games. It was bought for about $1 billion. There have been absolute King with Candy Crush. The gaming, the content side, Europe creates the best businesses out there. And so what you've got is you've got talent now that has had experience in building games and building the viral loops that you need, et cetera. So I think now is the time for actually Europe to create companies in that space, because there's just the depth of talent to be able to do it. There's the experience, there's the capital, et cetera. So I think we'll see quite a bit of that. But listen, I'm not going to downplay some of the others, right? Vario, who I think is speaking later, who would have thought that someone would dare to compete with Oculus, dare to compete with some of the Asian manufacturers to build headsets themselves, and a company that comes out of Finland, right? That's so cool, and that speaks, to what else Europe had, and this is especially Finland. What we love about Finland, Finland had a very big company that was building mobile phones hardware for a very long time, and it didn't work out. And so you have a huge amount of talent from that space that kind of spilled out into the market. And I'm not sure, what percentage of the people at Vario come from Nokia, but I guarantee they've got some people that had some deep experience building there as well. So, that, and then lastly, just to add as well, and this is both a positive and a negative to Europe, is that it's incredibly diverse, languages, cultures, et cetera. So if you think a lot about the B2B things, Americans are going to build for the American market in English only, right? And what you're not going to have is someone that says, actually, you know what, we understand that in German Mittelstand companies, there's an opportunity for XR training programs that teach them how to make the VW slightly better. And that'll be local companies building for those local markets as well. And so that just won't be touched by the US folks.
That makes total sense. And I guess sort of like kind of following up on that, where do you see the trends in XR like over the next, I don't know, few years? Especially Europe more so than the US.
Listen, I mean, I'm going to probably try to keep it more high level than dive in per se, because truthfully, we're led by the founders more so than it's our job to determine it, right? Founders are the ones that are in there kind of specifically in the area, identifying problems, coming up with solutions, and they come and tell us, and then we look smart by repeating back exactly what they tell us. It's a unique skill set of an investor to be able to kind of beg, borrow, and steal from very smart people. But like many businesses, COVID-19 is going to have a sort of a catapult effect in this space, right? And it's because I think for a long time, right? We're investors in travel companies. They're down 98%, and it's not coming back. We all thought, okay, this is going to be a 6-month thing. Guess what? It's going to be a multi-year thing, and we're getting much more accustomed to technologies, right? I mean, Zoom it's a freaking terrible experience, yet we're all kind of okay with it at this point. So imagine what happens when we get a good VR experience to be able to video conference with people, right? And training, right? Even surgeons that need training can't go into a hospital anymore. So there's perfect examples of these B2B use cases out there. And so I think it's going to, if you remember the charts about e-commerce penetration, it was a kind of 20%, and then there's a step change to 35% immediately during this time. And I think given the low base that XR starts in, we're going to see that sort of transformational impact where we're going to go from 1% experience now to 15% experience. And so what we're excited about is the fact that, like, again, coming back, these inflection points don't happen that often, right? This is a once in a decade sort of thing that we believe we're now entering. And that creates an exciting investment opportunity finally as investors, because where we get it wrong a lot as investors is we get it kind of right in the long term, but wrong in the short term. And what I mean by that is our job is to make money. We fund companies so they can prove something over the next 18 months to be able to go raise money again. And the problem in VR, let's say, for the last 10 years, is that people get excited, they fund a company, and you have to sit around and wait years and years and years. They never have traction. And so they would run out of money and run out of time before they actually generated the traction, the proof points. I think as an investor, you can go into it now and say, actually, you know what? It's there. It's there. This is going to be happening. On the B2B side, companies are going to be open to prototyping, to training, to conferencing, whatever it might be. And on the consumer side, it's happening. My son is 12 years old. He has been desperately trying to get the latest Xbox or PS5 or whatever it might be, and we haven't been able to get it happen yet. But he came up and asked the other day. He said, "Oh, a couple of my friends have got this Oculus thing. What do you think?" And so now we're considering it ourselves, right, internally. And I'm quite a notorious cheapskate. So if we're considering it here, and my son is excited about it, it's going to be happening.
Definitely. I mean, I was talking to one of the investor partners on the program the other day, and she was saying that, like, oh my God, you have to get this headset. Like, we have to go into this immersive games, because it's like it's a new way, or a different way of actually getting the opportunity to I guess even connect with other people at this point, right? We're all fed up with Zoom and, you know, phone calls and so on. So if I guess obviously, like on our side over the past 3 years, one of the things that we've tried to achieve at Augmentor was actually, you know, so like kind of build that investment appetite. And we've done a great work with that, and we've seen more and more, I guess, like from the industry agnostic investors, or like kind of putting money into immersive companies. I guess both on the startup side and on the investor side, what would be a sort of like kind of piece of advice that you would give them?
Yeah, it's a great question, because I think the good thing about anyone operating in this space is that there's a level of excitement now in the investment community, right? People want to take the meeting, they want to hear about it. They'll have a young son or young daughter who's been talking about it, and so they're going to get excited about it. So that's a positive. I think the key thing in my mind, and this is for any company, is the key milestones that the business will be able to choose. So having realistic milestones and having a fundraise that matches that. Again, what you have to do once you start on this venture capital treadmill, so what you're doing is you're raising capital, which allows you to supercharge the business. The downside of that is you're investing ahead of revenues generally coming through, you're burning money, and so you've got a limited time frame. You've got about 18 months usually to prove something meaningful, to be able to raise capital again. And so you have to be crystal clear and aligned with your investor about what the goals are, what you will achieve in the next 18 months. And if you find an investor that you're aligned with, where you agree on what the business should be able to achieve, that's great. Now, we understand things don't always go according to plan. There's hiccups, you know, on a positive sense, negative sense. Some things will move a little bit faster, some will move slower. But you need to have a very credible cash usage plan. And understand exactly what you think you can achieve, and be kind of almost conservative about it, right? Don't overpromise, because then everyone's going to be disappointed with where things are. But again, I think the good news is it feels like the time is there. For the first time in a long time, it feels like it can happen. It can happen.
We hear a lot of that. Thanks a lot for the insight. Just before we're gonna wrap up, I guess my final question for you is where we're going to see the next Ultra Leap? Where's your bet on that one?
It's events like this, isn't it? That's what you told me, Julia. As I come here and I meet the next great company. That's no. I will be paying attention and listening to the rest of them. Honestly, I think again, that's the question for the founders, right? They are the ones that are putting their heart and soul into it, right? I spend 10% of my time in the space. They spend 100% of their time, you know, deep within the space. And so my job is to make sure that I'm available and there. And again, I can learn from the founders that are here.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for that, Sean. We are running out of time.
Yes.
But it's been great to hear more about what you guys invest in, and obviously your appetite in immersive investment. We're going to head back to the pitches, but have a lovely day, and thanks a lot for the insight.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Awesome. Yeah, Julia, Sean, thank you. What an amazing chat that was. And I guess it was really an honest and sort of real overview of past investments that were being done, and also the current state of the art of the immersive landscape. I personally really just enjoyed the comparison of like the flattened world, and also how immersive is being led by founders, really. So thank you, Sean, for mentioning that. And I hope the audience enjoyed this as much as I had. So yeah, now we're going to move on, going back to the startup pitches, and we're now going to hear it from the 5 teams that are still left. Again, just as a reminder, if you're an investor or a potential customer, don't forget to book your one-on-one meetings with the startups through the Calendly links. Okay, so let's start with the first one, VR entertainment. So as millions of music fans and gamers are consuming content in an entirely new way due to COVID, Overview Arc is actually building the tools and also the platform that really allows them to reach out to and engage with their audiences virtually. So Roman, over to you to tell us more about it.
Thanks, Leah. Hi, my name's Roman Rapak, and I'm the co-founder of Overview Arc. We're redefining concerts and virtual events.
Apologies for interrupting. Just don't forget to share your screen. We'd love to see your pitch as well.
Sorry about that. Hi, my name's Roman Rapak, and I'm co-founder of Overview Arc. We're redefining concerts and virtual events by creating a fully persistent music-based ecosystem and product suite. Despite the breakthroughs in technology and virtual concerts, many of the tools and access are only available to tech companies and a small number of privileged artists. An entire generation of performers are being left out of a revolution that's happening in music, the convergence of the video game and music industries. Our mission is to provide all artists and venues with the infrastructure and resources they need to create interactive concerts and define a new era of music. The Overview Arc ecosystem is more than just a platform for performers. Artists can play shows, venues can host events, brands can reach audiences, and most importantly, fans can meet with friends and attend concerts. Thousands of people have already been able to attend our virtual events, providing us with vital feedback and R&D. The Overview Arc ecosystem consists of two core products. First, our virtual concert toolkit allows artists and venues to create their event quickly and easily, choosing a template and dragging and dropping assets to reach audiences across multiple devices and platforms. Second is our live concert toolkit, creating a portal between physical concerts and virtual worlds that are accessible to online audiences. We've already taken our critically acclaimed product around the world, showcasing at events in Germany, France, the Netherlands, and the UK. Digital habits have transformed. The convergence of live music and online gaming industry has created new opportunities for artists and venues to reach audiences in exciting and engaging ways. Virtual concerts have exploded in the last 18 months, with record numbers of people attending across billions of devices. A massive shift is taking place in the live events industry, with 2.5 billion gamers suddenly becoming potential concert goers. Our ecosystem allows all artists and venues to push the boundaries of their art form and create new music experiences that can reach an unlimited audiences. Our business model is based on the sales of virtual merchandise, brand sponsorship, and in-app purchases. While our competitors provide expensive one-off experiences for large-scale acts only, we offer a solution for everyone, from emerging artists to established acts. We've already signed partnerships with leading brands, motion capture studios, mobile and gaming companies, and sold thousands of tickets pre-launch as proven test cases. We're currently developing our products and growing our team, with over 25 years of experience at the intersection of music and technology. The Overview Arc product suite is built by artists for artists to enter the rapidly growing virtual concert industry. Help us define the future of live music and virtual events. Thanks very much.
Roman, fabulous. Thank you for this. Thank you for sharing bits and pieces of what Overview Arc actually does. Again, audience, we'd love to hear it from you. So pop your feedback in the chat. And now we're going to go sort of back to where we started. We're going back to the world of retail and shopping. And we'll now hear more about a product called Spree that enables more personalized online shopping experiences. And Akshay, your turn to go.
Hi there, I'm Akshay. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Percept Imagery. And with the augmented reality platform Spree, we are allowing global brands and retailers to better serve their consumers online. Right now, retailers and brands are responding to a significant shift in consumer behavior, with safety concerns and physical stores being forced to close down. On the other hand, there's been a massive surge in online shopping, but this in turn poses some new challenges like failed product expectations, poor product positioning, and high return rates, with 54% of UK online purchases being returned. We are changing this by allowing online shoppers to better evaluate a product in the real world before making that purchase, and retailers to better position their products in front of their customers. Spree helps personalize online shopping by allowing retailers to let their customers virtually try on their products from wherever they are using just their smartphones. And with absolutely no app downloads required, online shoppers can visit an existing brand's website or their social channels like Facebook or Instagram, or simply just scan a QR code to experience a product virtually. In a post-pandemic world, the opportunity is huge here, with 65% of consumers preferring a brand that offers a virtual try-on. And this is backed by a really powerful ecosystem of 1.7 billion AI-enabled smartphones and the emergence of 5G networks. Since launch in March 2020, we are now revenue generating with our subscription-based pricing model, and we're working with brands across home and furniture, beauty and jewelry sectors, and we intend to expand to more sectors and more geographies in the coming months. Our team comes from 8+ years of solid experience in building immersive software for some of the biggest brands globally. Both me and my co-founder Rohan have also been recently recognized and endorsed as global talents by the UK government and TechNation UK. We're raising 450K in investment, out of which we already have a 200K commitment. We are going to use this investment to further grow the team, scale the platform further, and partner with big e-commerce marketplaces. And we were planning to get 250 brands on board by the end of 2021. We are really excited about how Spree is going to fundamentally change online shoppers and give them more confidence, and as well as brands to better position their products online, helping them with more conversion and less returns. And we're really excited that this revolution is starting right here in the UK. Thank you.
Akshay, thank you. Thank you for this short introduction to Spree and to what awaits for us in the shopping world in the future. Thank you very much for that. So next in line, we have Jack from Readiness to tell us about their VR virtual production tool. So over to you, Jack.
Thanks for the introduction, Leah, and thanks for the great fireside chat, Yulia and Sean. Okay, so here we go. Hi, I'm Jack Morrow, co-founder and CTO of Readiness, where we developed Animotive, a software product that utilizes consumer VR hardware to dramatically simplify and reduce the cost of 3D animation production, which is currently a $34 billion market. We've been in the immersive tech business for the last 5 years, working with clients from BBC to BMW. We were born out of Wild Rover Productions, one of Ireland's most successful independent TV producers, creating global television formats with partners such as BBC and Channel 4. So the problem we set out to solve is that the current technology, which is supposed to help people create 3D animation for TV and gaming, too often actually gets in the way. So we've decided to try a totally different approach.
Introducing Animotive. Animotive harnesses the power of cutting-edge immersive technology, allowing you to collaborate remotely with your whole creative team. Just slip on a virtual reality headset. Choose your characters and your props, then invite the performers. Performers literally become or embody their animated characters. Then all you need to do is pick a scene, and you can collaborate like you're standing together on a live action set, but with a few added extras like invisible prompters and virtual coffee. Okay, you might have to wait till version 2.0 for the coffee. We virtualize the entire animation workflow, so directors, producers, camera operators, lighting directors, designers, and stagehands can all join the session remotely and work together at the same time. Or you can do it all on your own. Animotive allows for multi-pass recording. You can add additional elements with each pass. The entire performance is captured in 3D, and you can shoot and reshoot the scene from any angle using our virtual cameras. Playback is instant. Cut between shots in real time and send the cut video direct to your editing software. Animotive is the cost-saving solution you didn't even know you needed. Until now.
So as you can see, we've built our minimum viable product, which I'm happy to show you in a live demo in a headset or over Zoom. We've also been testing our product with consumers and enterprise users, one of which within a week pitched a show to the BBC to be created in our software. Adobe Creative Cloud has 12 million subscribers. If just 1% of Creative Cloud users adopt our product, we'll be looking at annual revenues from 70 to 100 million. To break even, we only need 5,000 users. In 2019, we raised pre-seed capital from Techstart Ventures, who have confirmed their intention to reinvest. We are looking to raise 1.5 million and find a lead investor who shares our vision and recognizes the enormous potential of this business. Our ideal partner will be able to support us in scaling our software licensing business to reach a global market. The smartphone revolution showed the world anyone can be a photographer. We want to show the world that anyone can be an animator. Please send me an email if you'd like to talk further.
Amazing. Jack, thanks so much. Thank you for showing us this video sneak peek of automotive. And as Jack said, like, do reach out to him if you want a live demo or just a conversation. We're almost done with the pitching, actually. We only have 2 more teams to go. And now we're going to enter into the world of 3D data visualization. And Laura from Slanted Theory will tell us just a bit more about it.
Okay, thank you. All right. Hi, I'm Laura, and this is Slanted Theory, and we help teams to think in data. Myself and my co-founder, Dr. Mark Burkett, have a combined 15 years of experience in computer science research. We work with organizations to understand their growing data, and we saw the difficulties companies faced in finding insights, creating understanding, communication, and engagement with data at all stakeholder levels. Now, 73% of enterprise data is going unused within analytics, and engagement with data tasks is at an all-time low as data literacy becomes a barrier. This is costing organizations an estimated $500 million a year. The problem is not everybody is a data analyst, and for many, the ability to think in data is still difficult. So we saw an opportunity to give everyone a way to explore their data and understand it with simply a flick of their hand and without the need to code. A way to give people without data science backgrounds analytical superpowers. Alera is a virtual platform of powerful 3D interactive data visualizations where teams can collaborate in real time. Alera empowers you to intuitively explore large-scale data sets, understand how they connect, find those pain points and those trends. It's the next generation on from Tableau. Our cloud platform works across desktop, virtual, and augmented reality, and has an intelligent backend. 3D environments enable you to consume more data in one go in comparison to 2D, and therefore, on average, can save about 25 hours per week per analyst. Our big vision is to address the data visualization market at 5.6 billion by 2025, but we're going to start by tackling the organizational analytics market at 746 million, where COVID has really forced HR companies to focus on finding hidden value within their networks. Our forecast is to affect 0.9% of that market within 5 years. We've worked with billion-dollar companies covering customer analytics, pollution, and HR, creating views of data unparalleled in 2D. Cisco commented that Alera enabled them to see those data connections, but also enabled their teams to immediately consume those data insights at the same time. Another client commented that the experience and the visuals provided by Alera were more intuitive than our competitors, who are predominantly US-based. So we're looking for a pre-seed investment of £350,000 to kickstart our growth, increase our team by 15, and in 5 years hit revenues of 3.1 million. To date, we've supported the development of Alera through a consultancy-based model, but on the back of our investment round, we're shifting to a SaaS model with strategic integrations with partnerships such as Salesforce, Tableau, Cisco, and Click. And then in the future, looking to adjacent markets for network data in supply chains and city infrastructure. We hope that you will grow with us on our journey, and we thank you for your time.
Thank you. Big clap of hands on this one. Laura, thank you so much for introducing us to Alera. And I guess now, really ending the pitching, is Victoria from Vika Books. But Victoria is unfortunately having some connectivity issues, so she won't be able to do a live pitch. But we do have a plan B. We do have a pitch video recording ready instead. So now please tune in to hear a bit more about AR and British Sign Language, and bear with me while I set the video up on my end.
Imagine a world in which books spring to life, connecting readers to a wealth of curated media. That's the world we're looking to build. Hello, my name is Victoria Forrest, founder of Vicar Books. We create extraordinary books that blur the boundaries between the real and virtual world. The way we learn has changed. The book is no longer our go-to destination. Every day we trawl through websites, feeds, and documentaries for information that will fade into a maze of bookmarks and algorithms. Vicar Books was created to solve this problem by reconnecting everything we learn. At Vicar, we believe a book isn't just an object to be cherished. It's a gateway to a world of multimedia learning. For example, this video shows my hearing son at 18 months signing words that he can't yet say. Hat, kite, monkey. Sign language is an unprintable language with profound benefits for hearing parents and deaf literacy. Our first book, Where is the Bird?, helps families across the world learn to sign. Our patent-pending illustrations bring pages to life. Learn faster, more efficiently, more delightfully. Illustrations are designed around the concept of a walk in the park, a plane, a bird. A parent holds a buggy book, their smartphone will scan over the top, and that bird will spring to life and play a video of how to make that sign in sign language. Our deceptively simple UX can trigger AR on a range of playful materials, from wall art to fabrics and activity packs, all designed to be affordable, portable, flexible, and fun. At Vicar, we agree that AR will become as ubiquitous as the smartphone, and we've set out to revitalize a 500-year-old print industry. Our beachhead market is children's preschool, an accelerated market due to the demand and learning support for early literacy. Our MVP demonstrates the commercial potential of our patents. Our routes to market are traditional and digital book distribution models in-store and online. Our product has 2,800 downloads and 260 sales so far. We've been featured by BBC and Apple and received over 20 awards, including the National Technology Awards for Best AR Product. Please meet our team. I have 15 years experience in book design and production. Emma's a BBC XR author completing a PhD on the future of the book. We have a solid production team, advisors in innovative business models. We're proud to be funded by grants and supported by accelerators. We're looking for publicity and distribution partners to get our books into UK homes as soon as possible. We plan to raise seed funding to license our IP later this year. Please get in touch if you want to work with us. Let's light up bookshelves across the country. Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, that was Victoria's speech. But I guess that's a wrap up on the pitching side, really. So great job to all the teams. And again, a virtual round of applause for all founders that have pitched today. Again, ping them and reach out to them to further the conversations with them. And I guess now to really finalize today's event, let's dive into our second and also last fireside chat that will highlight successes and also challenges from two established immersive companies, Ultraleap and Vario. And for this fireside chat, I'm handing the mic over to Emily, Digital Catapult's immersive product lead, and also our moderator for the next fireside chat. So Emily, over to you to introduce yourself and also both of our speakers.
Oh, thanks so much, Leah, and thank you everyone for all the amazing pictures that we've heard this morning. It's been a really, really exciting Thursday morning event. So brilliant stuff. Thank you. So yeah, if I could just invite both Anders and Neil to turn on your videos. Hello, hello. Brilliant. Excellent. So I am really excited today to be joined by Anders Hackfeldt, who's the SVP of Product and Marketing from Ultraleap, and then also Neil Broadley, who is the EMEA Commercial Director at Vario. So I'm sure an awful lot of you have heard about both of these companies. They've both experienced amazing early stage growth over the past few years. Varjo are obviously the Finnish startup that is really making a big impact on the global XR stage. It's fair to say you're totally rewriting the quality and the potential of what mixed reality headsets can do for the enterprise market, which is so exciting. You recently had your Series C round where you raised a substantial amount of money. So we will be very excitedly talking and digging into that, Neil, a little bit later. Ultraleap, of course, have been providing the kind of world-class hand tracking and haptics for the past few years. Again, you've had an incredibly exciting journey. You recently also raised your Series C round, and of course, are particularly notable for the fact that you must be one of the few Bristol startups to have acquired Silicon Valley technology company in order to grow and add to the product. So thank you both. I mean, I think the really exciting thing that brings it all together is that the two companies are now recently working together and integrating the two technologies for Varjo's new VR2 Pro headset. So that also makes it really worthwhile us talking a little bit more about partnership strategy, etc. But let's kickstart. Would you be able to maybe both just say a little bit more about your roles and about some of the company's most recent developments that haven't really been summarized in what I've said? So let me hand over the mic first of all to Neil.
Hi, good morning, Emily. Good morning, everybody. Really pleased to be here this morning. Thank you for having me. So Neil Broadley. I, as Emily says, Commercial Director for Varjo in EMEA and APAC. So in plain English, it basically means I look after the sales team across Europe, Middle East and Africa, and then our reseller network into Asia Pacific. Really exciting times for Varjo. If you haven't come across us before, we're the world's only company who create what we call human eye resolution, so true photorealistic visual quality VR, and also mixed reality headsets. And that combination of human eye resolution and true video pass-through mixed reality, which allows you to fuse the real and the virtual in a truly immersive way, where ultimately, if you do it well, you can't actually tell the difference between the two, is incredibly exciting. As Emily says, lots happening. I'm sure we'll get time to talk about it a little bit more this morning, but beginning of December, we actually launched our all new third generation headsets, the XR3 and the VR3. So a busy year with the new headset launches and the Series C fundraising, and also perhaps particularly exciting this morning is our XR3 and our VR3 also integrate Anders' fantastic Ultraleap Gemini version 5 software. So there's a great partnership between the companies. So maybe that's a good handover for Anders to introduce himself.
Great, and thank you, Neil and Emily. Great to be here. Good morning, everyone. And in celebration of what Neil mentioned, I chose the background today. This is the XR3 indeed, and it is the most advanced piece of extended reality kit you can get your hands on when it's available for shipping. So it's a really exciting time. And I think to give you a bit of context, my role at Ultraleap is to look after the product team, the marketing team, and our UX team, you could say our design team. So bringing together everything from user insight through to behaviors and how people actually engage with the world, through to how we build our products and take them to market. And the way I like to think of it is that what's ahead of us is an interface revolution where we're so used to flat screens and keyboards and mice, but that's actually, it's a workaround. In the real world, we engage things in 3D with our hands. We use our senses in a very, synergistic way. And I think what's happening now is the beginning of that revolution, a return to natural interaction, where equipment like the XR3 will enable us to actually leave the virtual and each other in this reality in a way that just wasn't possible before. So that, of course, needs a new interface where we can engage with this reality in a very natural way, and that's where we come in. So the software we bring into this new product is the latest generation of hand tracking software. So that's using stereo infrared cameras that track 27 points of your hands, each hand, and then converting that into a real-time feed of coordinates that enables us to know exactly what you're interacting with in space in real time. So very exciting time. And lots to talk about in the context of what's going on in that sector.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, thank you both. And you're right. And I'm not sure if it's my internet connection here. We might be a bit glitchy, so please do say, audience, if you're struggling to hear what we say. But I think let's first of all dig into exactly that, the coming together of your two bits of hardware and technology, because for any startup, that's a really critical move, which is how do you choose the companies and other technology partners to help grow your product, and trying to understand, maybe Neil, initially from your side, how as far as how some of that process and decision making went along in regards to building what the new Vario headset will have inside, and why you chose Ultraleap to really be that partner in making sure it had the very best. What's the kind of evaluation that you think other startup technology companies should be going through for these kinds of decisions?
Yeah, no, definitely, Emily. And I think it's perhaps useful also to tell this a little bit in terms of the history of the company as well, because all this is happening, as I'm pretty sure everybody on the call experiences, a very accelerated time frame. So we launched our first VR headset, which is called the VR1, perhaps unimaginatively, in 2019. And that at that point didn't have hand tracking technology, but we moved very rapidly towards the end of 2019 to introduce the VR2 Pro, which for the first time combined the human eye resolution that Vario is famous for, the built-in eye tracking technology that we also have in the headsets, and the Ultraleap, at that point, the Ultraleap version 4 software. And the reason why we looked to bring that together was really to take the level of immersiveness up a notch. Now, as a company, as Vario, we only focus on enterprise workflows. So everything we do, from the hardware choices, but also crucially the software that underpins that hardware and enables that hardware, is designed to help enterprises be more productive and to achieve those workflows more successfully. And of course, one of the big challenges with any kind of immersive technology is just getting people over that hurdle that allows them to be productive, that takes away the feeling that I've got a headset on, or I'm using a particular bit of kit, and allows you actually to concentrate on the job at hand, because after all, that's what it's about the job at hand, not the technology you're using. And so in the same way that our human eye resolution allows you to get away from the fact that I can see everything in VR or mixed reality as I could in real life. Our mixed reality technology allows you to interact with everybody else in the room as well as the virtual content at the same time. And having the Ultraleap technology integrated then allowed us to say, well, actually, if you don't want to use the traditional route, which was always controllers and Steam controls and whatnot, and if anybody's ever been through that journey of helping people and teaching people how to use them, of course, if you're a power user, you're pretty quick and you're moving around and they're very precise. But for a general user and someone picking up the technology wanting to get to grips, the most natural thing in the world is just to put your hands up, right? And then interact, with the training simulation, adjust the car model, do your piece of medical surgery or whatever it is you happen to be doing in VR or mixed reality. But with the VR2, of course, we only had it in virtual reality. And then the big step for us was how can we work together as companies then to enable this in mixed reality? Because this is when it gets really, really powerful, because you get to the position where you can actually interact with virtual content in the real world, with your real hands. And that is just incredibly natural and an incredible powerful way to use the technology. Of course, by working together, we've enabled our developers to move very smoothly from the VR2 to the VR3 and the XR3. So again, building that continuity as both sets of products continue to evolve and improve, our developer community is able to come with us, and also, of course, all our customers are able to upgrade their products at the same time. So it's about synergies, but it's also about bringing that level of immersiveness I think Anders was talking about earlier to the next level.
Yeah, and that's a great point you bring up, is that consistency, you know, making product decisions at a point that allow, you know, a good roadmap for of future development. I mean, Anders, obviously from Ultraleap's point of view, you've gone through a kind of similar journey to Vario in regards to how you acquired Leap Motion. You know, this again was all about you guys bringing in a technology into your product to allow it to have that kind of vision that you saw. So maybe it would be really interesting as well to hear from you. How did the kind of Leap Motion acquisition, what were some of the product decisions that went behind that? I'm sure there was a whole load of business decisions that were being made, but from your point of view as SVP of product, why did it seem like the right thing to do at that time for the company?
It's a great question, and I think it highlights just how vibrant and fast-moving this ecosystem is. There are so many technologies at play, so many different companies experimenting and creating. So it's, you got to keep your finger on the pulse, so to speak. But ultimately, for us, we started out as a haptics company with a patented technology for creating tactile feedback using ultrasound. So that's why we started as Ultra Haptics. And to be able to know exactly where to put the tactile sensations in space, we need very precise coordinates of where the hands are. So we worked with Leap Motion, as they were called back then, and their technology for several years. They were, in fact, part of our reference design. So obviously for us, it was very central to delivering a great quality of our core product at the time. We raised our Series C that closed towards the end of 2018. So we had funds available, and we were about to take the next step in our growth journey. And then it was serendipity, I would say, a combination of the fact that they were ready for a corporate event. They needed to make a change in their strategy and find a new home, so to speak. And then it just came together really, really quickly, partially because founders on both sides had a personal relation as well from the past, so they knew of each other and respected each other. So that of course helps, and it's an example of it's really useful to be out in the ecosystem, meet people, network, and have a sense for the adjacent possible, as it's called in innovation speak. What are the opportunities right next to your own core technology that would just make the solution or the user experience so much better?
That's such a brilliant point, and I think a really, really good kind of thought starter for all the startups that have been speaking today is, yeah, exactly, keep an eye on those that are potentially will be that little extra gold dust to help your product to continue growing. And I mean, Neil, I think we've got to talk about exactly what was brought up a little bit earlier by pro-founders. The fact that Vario, of course, has done a really bold thing. It's a headset that's not only coming out of a European country, which in itself is quite unique, but also coming into a market that's dominated by some pretty big players. So I think it'd be really, really good to hear from you. How do Vario at the moment, how are you getting your stake of the land, and how do you deal when, if you're a new tech company that's coming into a market that potentially has competitors, but also, of course, they're only competitors if you think they are really producing something that threatens your product. So how do you go about navigating that landscape and getting your slice of territory?
Great question, Emily. And yeah, I think it's fair to say we have some fantastic and very large companies as competitors. But I think the key for any small company, and just to give a bit of context, so Vario, we're about 150 people globally, headquartered in Helsinki in Finland, and then we also have an office in Washington DC in the US. But I think the key to a company like Vario is focus. And that would be my kind of big, if I had one like big overarching message, is focus. And for us as a company, where we focus is on the enterprise, and we focus exclusively on enterprise workflows. So while someone's welcome to use one of our headsets for entertainment or gaming, we're not focusing there. We're focusing on creative industries like car design, architecture, engineering, construction. We're focused on training and simulation, both civilian, military, the energy space, lots of companies that are looking to deploy things there. And then we focus on research and medical. But by focusing on the enterprise customers, we can ensure not only that the hardware delivers, which of course is critical, but also the software delivers. And I think we spend a lot of time talking about hardware, but for us, our software roadmap is as important as anything, and the two synergies together. So for example, last year we brought out 5 separate software updates during the year. For example, real-time chromakey, so like green screen technology like you'd see in the movies, real-time video shading and mixed reality, which allows people to simulate nighttime operations in a perfectly well-lit room, for example. And by bringing those tools to bear, other advantages it gives us is, for example, when you purchase a Vario headset and you take it into use, all of our users have dedicated one business day business support. So that means that anybody working with our headsets, developers developing our headsets, teams getting grips of our headsets, they're able to get the support that they need. You know, some of our customers even have dedicated Slack channels with our engineering teams, you know, to really help them to succeed with that business tool. And I think by having that level of focus, and you know, I don't need to go into our competition, there's some big household names there, that allows us to really kind of carve out and differentiate Vario in the whole, before we get into the product stuff, which I've already been harping on enough about this morning, and the resolution and the eye tracking and the mixed reality.
Yeah,
so focus is the big one.
You can, as you say, yeah, not only have the focus, but also offering that next level of customer service at the beginning, which of course should always be a key of a smaller company and be something that sets it apart. And I mean, yeah, Anders, would you say in regard to Ultraleap as well, in regards to how you really navigate and continue to grow, what are some of the key success factors, do you think, in terms of how a company goes from that kind of early stage Series A or seed funding, like some of the startups that are in the room? How do they really then go about that scale up operation into the later rounds of series funding? What would you say are some of the things that you've seen along the journey of Ultraleap as to how you continue to grow?
It's a very good question, and you're right. It's sort of, when you're at Series C level, you've got to prove that you can turn a great idea and a great technology into something so useful that a lot of people are prepared to pay for it, and not just ideally pay once, but actually keep coming back. And I think that's sort of the heart of scaling up. How do you achieve stable revenue growth without adding vast amounts of people to your organization? So that's where, of course, where you can learn a lot from others. You have to look at your business models. How can you move from one-off sales to perhaps subscriptions or rental models or things that give you recurring revenue? Very important, and helps you get stable revenue flows that are easier to manage and easier to sell to the financial markets. But also, how do you scale your platforms internally to engage with customers? What kind of software do you need? So we've moved to Salesforce, for example. We use Pardo for managing CRM data and email campaigns. So we have a developer community of many hundreds of thousands of developers around the world who've used our SDK, our software. So you need tools to do that efficiently. And you don't want to do one size fits all. So you've got to start segmenting and thinking about how do you inspire people and keep your content and your message relevant so that people feel looked after and that they want to engage with you. So things like that in my domain around marketing and product are quite relevant. And also always, of course, a look at what else can we offer? What else it should be on the roadmap? How can we improve what we do? How can we sell more and add more value?
Yeah, okay. That's I think, yeah, we're really, both of you drawing out a similar point there around really look up when you're in that startup stage, when you're growing, really look after the people that are engaging with you as a business, be those, by the sounds of it, be those the developers that are using your platform or hardware, or of course your customers are absolutely critical. Well, I know we're starting to run out of time, so we'll try and wrap up in the next few minutes, because I know the important stuff has to happen afterwards, which is the one-to-one meetings, hopefully, for all of our startups. So let's just wrap up by talking a little bit about this year. I'm not sure if we can do this quickly because it's been an absolutely mad 12 months for everyone, but obviously this has been the ultimate test for all businesses, and particularly small businesses, to get through the COVID-19 pandemic and keep sailing. What would you just say to the startups have been some of the key learnings of how your companies have continued to exist, I think, is the main success for all of us at the moment, but to exist and to keep that steady growth just ticking over when we have very hard economic times. I mean, obviously the pandemic's been this year, but there are always going to be other examples of hard economic times in the future as well. So last kind of thoughts around that, please.
Yeah, so I'm just, very quickly, obviously the, coronavirus and the pandemic had a massive impact, especially on, companies like ourselves where the product is very experiential. Our route to market historically was go to an event, put a headset on someone's head, they're amazed, and away we go. And we're working together. But I think obviously last year forced us to completely rethink. Some of those things will be obvious in terms of how we rethink the go-to-market. We needed to shift to an entirely digital led approach, and thinking about how we can use remote demos, how we can use video material, how we can empower the sales team, essentially to spend most of the year talking over Zoom or Microsoft Teams. It also forced us to rethink our KSPs, key selling points, especially as the industry pivoted to caring much more about hygiene and hygienic usage in teams, and much more about remote collaboration. But it also forces, I think, perhaps as an idea, as a thought starter for everybody, to seek out partnerships that maybe we wouldn't have been so aggressive at seeking or deploying. So, for such a small company, last year we partnered with Boeing on their Starliner astronaut training, with Lockheed Martin on their prepared flight simulation software, with Kia Motors on real-time car design, real-time mixed reality collaboration in car design, to really kind of and perhaps just one final thought, and also for everybody, because I appreciate sometimes we get a little bit too UK or EMEA specific, but one of the things we've also done is focused on our geographic expansion. Because it's not always the same situations everywhere. And if we look, we're now in 40 countries across the world, particularly across Asia Pacific. Some of the business conditions, the day-to-day account conditions are not quite the same as they are maybe, right now here in Western Europe with lockdowns across multiple countries.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I am really sorry, but I think we're going to need to wrap it up there because I think I've seen the time and gone, oh gosh, right, yeah, sorry, we're going over. So thank you both so much for all of your thoughts and contributions there. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you involved with Augmentor, and thank you as well for continuing to work with Digital Catapult generally. So we will pause there, and I'll hand back over to Leah to do a few closing words before we go into meetings. So all the best, and thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Emily. And thank you, Anders, and thank you, Neil. And yeah, I can only say another A-League fireside chat. Thank you so much for sharing these useful learnings, but more than that, really for inspiring us for the future of immersive. And I guess on this note, let's really wrap it up. Thank you all who stayed to the very end and who managed to get through this hour and a half with us. Thank you for taking the time from your busy schedule and joining us. And we sincerely hope you enjoyed this online demo day. And on this note, just a massive thank you to our speaker for sharing their perspectives. So thanks, Sean, for highlighting the investment perspective on immersive. Thanks, Anders and Neil, once again, for sharing both your latest developments, tackling Corona strategies, and also some useful tips for founders. And last but not least, thank you, startups, for delivering your pitches. And I'm sure we'll hear more about today's invitees, especially from our 10 young, resilient startups that now have the opportunity to disrupt their industry sectors. So let's officially wrap up this demo day. Thanks again for joining, and have a great rest of the day.